my senior year, and I'd already been drinking alcohol. I was already involved in a whole lot of stuff I shouldn't have been involved in. And so I wasn't in the great shape that I should have been. And so I'm huffing and a puffing, and I go back to the huddle and I call the play, and dead burn, I turn around and whoever's supposed to get the ball don't show up. Guess what? I'm running. I'm running like a crazy man because they after me. And I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden I run to the sideline. I faked to run out of bounds, and this guy that was on me just relaxed. And when he did, bam! I took off up the sideline. You can't relax, my friend.
Nope.
There is no time to relax in whatever you do. You have to be constantly on guard, guarding everything, giving everything you got, being sensitive, alert, and watching everything that's going on, because every time you move and go and do, there are divine appointments, divine connections, people that you're meeting who can actually help you go to that next level. I believe that with all my heart.
Is our vow and our philosophy. The sales wolves hustle hard, it's our policy. We create economies, crushing anomalies. Came in this world to dominate with no apologies. Gotta get it till the day that we cease to breathe. Sales wolves got the tools that you know you need. Real lessons, confessions of what it really means to go from nothing to something and everything between. Married to the game and we took vows. Gonna get it poppin', yeah, when you hear them wolves howl. When you hear them wolves howl, yeah, when you hear them
All right, welcome to the Sales Wolf Podcast. I am Joseph Caldwell. This is Dave Walton, and we are Sales Wolves. Ow! All right, so we got special guest with me, Dave Walton here, and you know, the reason we do these podcasts, a couple reasons. We want to provide tactical information that you can use in sales. We believe that everybody's in sales, and it doesn't matter what the title of your profession is, even if it's not salesman or saleswoman or consultant or whatever it is they call salespeople these days, even if that's not your title, if your title's engineer, if your title's mama, daddy, if your title is whatever it is, doctor, lawyer, you are in sales, and we want to show appreciation for that, and we want to provide tactical information. I'm especially excited about this particular podcast because I have one of my mentors on with me, one of my favorite people on this earth, and that's Dave Walton. So
Bless you, man.
We're going to be talking about passion. We're going to be talking about some of the things that we do together, and just along the way providing information that if you use it in your life, things will change. Look, you know, if you're looking for the external to change and you concentrate on changing that external, do you know what's going to change? Not much. Not much. But if you get about changing you, then it will automatically change the external.
I agree with that. I think you have to, the way that I've come along in life is there are those who speak to you, and they speak to the internal. And if we can, let me give you an example. I'll take you back to 1965 in October, and I was in probably one of the most important football games in my life. I did not realize it at that moment, but it was a crosstown rivalry, first game of the two that ever played. It was halftime. We were tied 6-6. We go into the locker room, and we you know, you always have your rah. We're going to go out and we're going to go get them, you know, and we're fired up and all that kind of stuff. And so everybody's leaving. The coach says, "Hey, Walton, hold up, come here." And so when I go back, I go, "What's up, coach?" And he says, "Now listen, I know you. You know, you're a senior this year. You play football, you play basketball, you play baseball. You've done a lot of good stuff, a lot of you know, awards and that sort of thing." But he said, "Let me tell you something. Now listen to me." He said, "I'm going to tell you something. It don't mean nothing. It means zero." He said, "You know what? You know what's going to count, son?" I said, "Golly, coach, what's up, man?" He said, "Nobody will remember nothing you've done except tonight." Did you get that? He said, "Tonight is what they will remember. And they'll remember it the rest of your life." Well, I'm going to tell you what. I don't know what happened, but something went down in me when he said that. When I came out at halftime, I was like a raging maniac. I had gone radical. I mean, Lord have mercy. I broke loose on a 64-yard run that beat them 13, 12. Now, I say all that to say this. You're in a moment. To me, every day is a moment. That's what he taught me.
Every day is like, that's exactly what I was getting ready to say.
And so I learned something valuable at that age. Now, my father had already told me these things because he was a champion. He's a Hall of Famer boxer, North and South Carolina, and he had often said these things to me. But when the coach said it on that night that you're in the mix,
yep.
And this is when you got to give it all you got. You don't feel like it sometimes, I'll tell you. You really don't. Matter of fact, one of the guys supposed to be receiving the kickoffs was benched, and so he called me and said, "You're going to have to receive the kickoffs and the punts." So I got a good pair of hands, so I'm receiving it, and I run up the field, and they hit me and take me down. And my senior year, and I'd already been drinking alcohol. I was already involved in a whole lot of stuff I shouldn't have been involved in, and so I wasn't in the great shape that I should have been. And so I'm huffing and puffing, and I go back to the huddle and I call the play, and dead burn, I turn around, and whoever's supposed to get the ball don't show up. Guess what? I'm running like a crazy man because they after me. And I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden I run to the sideline. I faked to run out of bounds, and this guy that was on me just relaxed. And when he did, bam! I took off up the sideline. You can't relax, my friend.
Nope.
There is no time to relax in whatever you do. You have to be constantly on guard, guarding everything, giving everything you got, being sensitive, alert, and watching everything that's going on, because every time you move and go and do, there are divine appointments, divine connections, people that you're meeting who can actually help you go to that next level. I believe that with all my heart. That's why I am where I am now. I'm 70 years old, and I met you, and Joseph helped me go to the next level, and he allows me to pour into him what stupidity I've got, and then he can take it and sift it and make something out of it. And that blesses my heart that there are some things that we can share, and it changes. That was an incredible changing moment in my life. That built passion in me, I got to tell you. So from that day on, everything I've ever done is done with passion.
Because that's the perfect example of seize the moment.
Seize the moment.
You take that moment, and if you have it in your head, if you've made that mental switch that this is what they'll remember me for, and you take that into each moment, this they'll remember me for. Boom!
I forgot all about it, really, to be honest, dry man. Those things are so back a long time ago. We had our 40th high school reunion. It's not on my mind. I mean, good Lord, I got my honey, my high school sweetheart, and I'm taking her. She was from the opposing team that I beat that day, so she didn't like that number 12. But anyway, we got married. She started liking him, and so
that's one of the things. You always get the girl if you win.
I took her to that reunion, and this is incredible, man. This is what the coach said. I didn't pay much attention except the passion of doing what I do day in and day out. And I get there, and we're at the Marriott, and I'm going up the stairs. You're not going to believe this. We go to the top of the stairs, and my wife says, "Oh, my stars." And they got this huge picture, big, gigantic picture of me breaking loose on that run. I said, the coach was right. They still remember. Then I just flash it to the side because I'm off to other things now. That's way on back there. But isn't that interesting how somebody can plant something in you, and it perpetuates you to go to places you never dreamed that you could go. And my daddy was that way. So you listen. You talk about passion. Let me give you something. This is like salespeople. So passion wakes me up and gets me going. I do it early. I'm before the sun's ever up. I'm up.
Oh yeah.
And I have the regimented commitment of what I do every day. I won't say that I do it 100%, but I'm going to guarantee I'm in the 98th percentile. Yep. It'll be just times when I've been all night going somewhere and barely getting in. And so I'm regimented to do these things. Why? Because I know that down the road, my commitment of what I give myself to will propel me into whatever it is that I'm going to encounter down here. Preparation to me is important.
Yes.
And so I've always tried to maintain that. So here's what Daddy says when I'm young. Mm-hmm. Hey son, say you want to play football? I'm a 6th grader. So you want to play football? Yes sir, I want to play. And he's boxing. I mean, he is at the top of his rank at this time. And he says, okay. He said, I want to, so at 5 o'clock, you be ready. What? 5 o'clock, I get up, and I start doing road work because Daddy's got to run. He's getting in shape. He's got to box. He's boxing 10-round, 12-round, 15-round fights. You got to be able to go, son.
You got to be able to roll.
Yeah, this ain't no 3-rounder. You know, where the gloves feel like they weigh 50 pounds on you.
Oh,
know?
yeah.
And so I'm out running. Now listen to me. This is business. And so I'm running, and I'm huffing and I'm puffing. And here's what he says. He's driving a car. He's driving the car down a snake road, old brick road over in Spartanburg. He's driving. I'm beside me. He said, all right, come on, speed it up. I said, come on. And he speeds it up. I'm about to drop dead. But here's what he knows. He knows, because he's older and been through it, there's a little bit more room that he can take me to, even at the point of exhaustion.
Yep.
You hear me now? It's the way it is in sales, it's the way it is in life, it's the way it is in anything. We all reach those points where, look, I sold 100 policies. I've sold insurance. I sold insurance on the back of tractors. People said, what are you doing? I said, how'd you get them policies? I said, well, I was over to a farmer over here, and they said he's on a tractor. The only way you can talk to him is get on the tractor. When he come back up plowing,
jump on the tractor.
I'm on the tractor, man. I'm riding with him, and I'm telling him what's going on, and he says, sign all my people up. I sign them all up. I mean, this is what you do. You feed on the moment, because your passion burns like a blazing fire in you, and I want to break records. I'm not interested in just pop, kind of going. I've been that way all my life. I'm in this business. If I was coaching, I want to win. Yep. And so we coached to win. We did championship teams. It doesn't matter what you do, Joseph. I got to be able to look in the mirror. I mean, I'm just this is me. I got to look in the mirror every morning, and I got to look at myself as either I'm shaving or combing my hair, and I got to look at myself and say, well, did you give it your best today? Did you give it all you got? Remember what your daddy said? Don't bring nothing to the sideline.
Nope.
Lay it all out there on the field, son.
So my dad used to
Here's what he said, too. This is business, you understand? And Daddy always said this, you, my son, will not be the best. There'll be people a lot better than you. There'll be people faster than you. There'll be people who do a whole lot of things. I was a quarterback in high school. I listened to him. I knew he had good stuff to say. But here's what he said. No man on that field, you listen to me, no man on that field will be in better shape than you.
They won't be able to outwork you. Period.
That's what he said.
Yep.
And see, this is the going, and I hear you all the time because I watch you broadcasting. And I'm just saying that I don't care if you're in business, if you're in sports, no matter what you're in, it requires diligent hustle. It requires deep preparation. It is the pounding and the pounding and the pounding. And it is discomfort, buddy.
Oh, yeah.
And you got to be willing to make the sacrifice to get out of the comfort zone and move to where it hurts and you're bleeding and you feel like you can't get it and your lungs are on fire. Yep. This is what we do. And that process continues on no matter what it is. So I took it in business, and I had over 4 of us.
You've been in. So the things that I know of, just from talking to you through the years, sports was big. You competed.
Yeah.
You're a competitor there. Your dad was a Hall of Fame prize fighter.
Yeah.
Just incredible shape. Then you tell me one time that you used to see him do a handstand and walk up the stairs in a handstand.
He can do it.
Unbelievable.
I mean, the strength of his upper body was unbelievable. And I could go on and on about some things, and he trained us. Now, let me take you to another journey. A lot of us say we're fit. The guy's big, he's strong, man. He's gonna go. He's gonna make it big. Well, let's talk about the other guy. Let's talk about the guy that didn't. Let's talk about the guy that's 5'7". He's wanting to play pro baseball. Talk about him. That's my brother. All right. So they look at my brother and say, "What? You gonna play pro ball?" I don't think so. And he said, Stan, you're only 5'7". Mm-hmm. I mean, look at you, man. He said, and it done something to him. It set him ablaze. You know what he did every day? Every morning, if you got up, you'd see him out the back window. He'd be in the backyard with a baseball bat in his hand. He was left-handed. 500 swings he'd make
Boom.
every morning. And what he did, he practiced the level swing. He practiced the ball coming a little out, and then he'd hit it that way. Or coming in, he'd come this way. And he practiced and practiced. He broke all the home run records in Little League play. They would not even throw it to him. When he went into American Legion, where I played, we're talking about the big park, son. They quit throwing to me and knock it out of the park. I mean, this is just the way, 5'7". They said, you will never make pro ball. I got pictures of him, the little lefty signing a professional baseball contract at the age of 17. Don't tell me we can't do it. You know, don't tell us that. It don't matter what. Listen to me. I don't care what size you are. I don't care if you have to bumble. But if you got the gut and you got to go and you're willing to give it all you got, the mountaintop's yours.
That's it.
You can go, man. You can go to the mountaintop. Nobody can hold you back but yourself.
That's right.
And that is it. So that's
You've carried it through sports. You've carried it through business.
Through business.
You was your first sales job? Was it insurance or was it the gym membership?
No, the gym membership was my first one.
And
we broke all.
You broke all the records there. Broke all.
They
the
made
records.
me mad.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got me stirred like you do.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they stirred me up. You know, I mean,
I make you mad?
Yeah, no. So it was interesting because I basically was just flunked. They used to call me in high school. They'd call the teachers up and they'd say, "Has he got at least a D? Is he gonna be able to play?" So I was in high school. All I want to do is play sports. I mean, the books didn't mean nothing to me. But later on, I changed all that.
Clarification.
Yeah, I had to know I had to ante up and get a little bit stronger, you know. But it's just an amazing journey that you go on, that you see that certain things you think aren't important, that you find out that are important, and they would call up and I would get to play. But later on, when I married Diane, and I'm going to college, and now listen, I'm not throwing no rocks here, okay? You understand? I'm just talking about me, okay? Get me. So I'm in college, but I can't quit the party style.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
So were you selling memberships while you were in college?
Yeah. I'm in. Actually, all right. Take me right there. I'm in Regency Health Spa. And because I'm going to lead up to that, so I'm coming out of college. I still got the problems. I'm the party guy.
Yeah, drinking all the time.
Yeah, I'm at it.
And you've told me before you had a problem with drinking.
I did. All right, so I get over here and my wife says, "You ever heard of a spa?" I don't know what no spa was. I'm this guy.
Yeah.
She says, no, they got like a European over there, you know. And I said, European, what's that? She's in Greenville. She's a lot more smarter than I am. You know,
Right.
she had to kind of lead me and help me and direct me, you know. And so I end up and I go apply for this job. Now listen to me. I just got out of Limestone College, paid my way, lost all my scholarships, had scholarships, have letters of where they wanted to come.
Partying.
Yeah, so anyway, I lost all that. So I go for the interview at the Regency Health Spa. Never forget it. Guy's got, boy, he's decked out. He's from California. Dave, what's your goal here? I said, I have one goal, sir. He said, what's that? And I said, I'm going to take your job. He looked at me like, that's a great goal. 90 days later, I had his job. You know why? Because I work.
Yep.
I get after it.
Yep.
When I tell you something, you better be bulldozing in front of me because this old dog's chasing you, son, and he's going to overtake you sooner or later. So we got into health club business, and anyway, and I kind of met the Lord, you know, and people's coming up to me and they're saying, woo, man, what happened, blah, 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 blah. Well, they called me in on the carpet. Mr. Bridges, who was, he was worth about $286 million at that time, net worth. And he loved me. He really appreciated what I brought to the club. And he called me on the carpet, and I said, Mr. Bridges, I got news for you. Something's happened to me internally. Something's happened to me and changed. But I'm gonna promise you this: I don't care how many memberships have been written so far. I'm fixing to take them 100 above it. He sat back in his chair and he said, get after it and show me. That meant money. That meant money for him, money for us. And guess what? We broke every record. Over 13,000 members in this one club.
Good gracious.
Had a women's day and a men's day. Nobody could stay with me because I used different formulas. And I went out and I met with people.
Yeah.
And I met and talked to organizations. I didn't care. I talked to church. I didn't care who I was talking to.
Yeah.
But why? Because I believed in health. I was passionate about health.
Right.
This is what I did. And so If you don't have passion about what you're doing, chances are you're not going to make it. You'll only make it so far. And if money's your only passion, you still won't. No. It's got to be beyond that.
Be beyond
it really does. And
because money's not a it's an inanimate object.
That's right.
It takes on the spirit of the possessor.
That's right.
And if you don't have something that's passionately driving you, then that spirit will wither the money. Does that make sense? Like it just doesn't. It's that way. And you went into what other? You were in the restaurant business.
Oh my goodness!
Tore it up in there.
Tore it up in the restaurant business. It was unbelievable. And we believed. Here's my philosophy in restaurant business: fresh. It's got to be fresh. I don't even want it. And so we trained our people that way. We trained our people that the art of everything is my moment of meeting you. Mm-hmm. That I make you feel welcome.
Yeah.
I make you feel that you're actually. I want you to be lifted up, and I just soon be low. I want you to feel that you are it.
Yep.
And that's why I've come. And that thing has just went with me my whole life. So
two restaurants that have done that well now. Chick-fil-A has done that well.
Chick-fil-A
and Moe's. You walk into Moe's and they go, "Welcome to Moe's."
Welcome to Moe's.
And now if you see it, a lot of places are taking that on because they're like, "I'm welcome."
Why not? Friendliness.
It's the moment that it's exactly what you're talking about.
Show me your love, baby.
Show me the
Come
love.
on. You can talk about it all you want to, but show me your love.
Show it.
And that's the whole part of to me of any industry.
Yep.
Is that we really show that we care. Look, even old dog can tell whether you like him or not.
That's right.
He comes up on the porch. It won't take him long to sniff you out and know what they. But if he senses that love and that, hey, I'm safe here. Old dog, he'll sit right down there beside you. I got one at home. He'll do that. I get in that chair in the morning. He gets up there and just sits right around my feet. And that's just the way it is. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
So
my dad used to say this when it comes to that. He said, "Business goes where it's welcomed, and it stays where it's thanked."
Boy,
isn't that great?
That's powerful.
That is.
Say it again.
Business goes where it's welcomed, and it stays where it's thanked. I mean, welcome and thanked.
Come on, man.
Some of these restaurants, some of them have figured it out finally. Yeah. You ask somebody at Chick-fil-A. So it's my favorite. I don't even eat Chick-fil-A. I never go there. I'll buy it for my kids sometimes, but sometimes I'll just drive through the line and get a water just so I can ask them a question and then say it'll be my pleasure. Isn't that great? I just want somebody to say it'll be their pleasure to do something for me.
Yeah, one thing I've noticed about you, Joseph, is that no matter where you are, you have this art of strong encouragement. And if there's anything that I find missing a lot of times, let's just say, church, business, restaurant, no matter where it might be, is the spirit of encouragement. I mean, come on, it's easy to knock down, and it's easy to be kicked when you're down.
Yep.
But I'd rather be the guy to say, stand there, hey, let me help you up, bub. Come on, wrap you up. Come on, I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna help you get to the next place. I'd rather do that than to just kick somebody that's down. But unfortunately, in this world today, this is just one of the ways that people respond, and it's kind of an anger. Why? Because they've not experienced the love.
That's right.
So they're not taking that look inwardly and said, you know what, I'm sour as a Dickinson here.
Yeah.
I've got this stuff that just, man, this stuff needs to get out of me.
Yeah.
And what you got to do, I always say the power of release is one of the most powerful things that you can, especially.
That's why forgiveness is so powerful.
Oh,
because it's a release.
It's a release.
So that brings me to to what I really wanted to talk about with you, which is a lot of the stuff that you do now. So Dave has Dave Walton Ministries and just does stuff all over the world. But with me and him, we had met in business, and every year he would mention something to me about wanting to go to Nicaragua or seeing if I'd go to Nicaragua with him and help poor people. And I literally didn't hesitate to tell him no every single time. Like it just wasn't on my radar. That wasn't something I was like, can I give you some money and make you go away? Right? People do that. And I was at a place with Dave talking about people sour on the inside. I was at a place where I'd failed repeatedly, so I was a little more open to anything besides how I was doing it. And so Dave asked me to go to Nicaragua with him back in 2010. Wow. And so when he asked me, I literally thought, who cares? Maybe that'll work. Maybe if I go help somebody else.
Yeah.
I dang sure don't want to, but why not? Could be something there.
Yeah.
And so I gave him money. It was $1,500, and then I got in such financial straits that I decided to try to get the money back. And I told my wife, I was like, I'm going to get the money. If I go to get something, if I go to do something, and it's one thing about Dave, like he embodies the saying, if he tells you a June bug will pull a freight train, you better hook its ass up, because it will, right? And that is him, and me too. And so I went to have breakfast. We were sitting at IHOP eating breakfast, and every time I tried to ask for my money back, he was telling me how excited he was that I was going with him in a couple of weeks, and he gave me some stupid book he wanted me to read. And it's the book's name was Radical. It's by David Platt, which is just absolutely the most offensive thing to the American dream.
It's offensive.
Which I needed, but I didn't want to read it.
Oh my goodness. So
I got home, and Kim said, "Did you get the money back? Because we needed it to pay bills. Yeah. We were broke, but I was never poor. Broke is broke is your bank account. Yeah. Poor is a mindset. I've never been poor. I have been broke several times, and lost it all, but never poor. Anyway, soak that in. But get rid of the mindset. That's a disease. That's mindset. A disease. Poverty's a mindset, and it's a disease. It'll keep you there forever. But broke, you just don't got any money in your bank account. Not a big deal. You can fix that, because as long as you don't have the disease of your mind. So I got back home. Kim said, "Did you get the money back?" And I was like, "No, but I got this stupid book." I slung it across the room and ended up reading the book, and it was offensive, like I thought it would be. And sometimes you need to be offended. That's just a fact, so that it'll push you to internal change. So I ended up going to Nicaragua. I hated everyone on that trip, including Dave. And the first, there was 13 of us. I was the 13th man, odd man out. And I met Edgar Mendoza there, which I love that man. Goodness. I love him now. I hated him then. I think I've been the one that have changed, because now I love all these people.
Yeah, thank you so
much. Met Mike Rao, hated him the first 5 minutes.
Oh my goodness gracious!
Fell in love with him that week too. Love that dude.
Man.
But anyway, to make a long story short, he was talking about the sourness on the inside, and so, God, it was the first time ever I had seen poverty or just desolation with no opportunity. First time ever. And what it did was it affected me. Like, I saw that, and I'm still the rough exterior person there. I haven't dropped an F-bomb on this podcast because I'm with a minister.
Thank you.
And you're welcome. But as I went through that week, and I just saw, we went into it was the lowest of the low. Like, I've never seen people that low. People that had no water.
That's right.
No place to live. Not any clue where their next meal was coming from.
Oh, man.
And when we pulled up, it was like the light of hope had showed up. And I kept thinking to myself, man, they're so happy. I'm miserable. Yeah. I'm miserable. They're happy. How can I be miserable? They're happy. And I kept seeing them. And we walked down these roads. And when I say road, I'm talking about a dirty, filthy, that's where the cattle walk down. I was stepping in filth and crap, and the smells. I'd never smelled smells like this. I'd never hugged people that were as dirty as they were, and I felt better about it. And by the end of that week, you remember, I came to you that Friday morning. I was like, man, I've been wondering why I felt so familiar in all of this filth. You remember me talking to you about that? And I remember journaling about that. And I remember the realization coming to me that Friday morning before I went and talked to you. And it was the realization that I had to go there to see just the desolation, the no opportunity, the filth, the hunger, the thirst, the hurting humanity. I had to see that on the outside, so I could get a better picture of what I look like on the inside.
Ooh, yes, man.
And when I saw that and I realized that, before I even came to talk to you, I sat there and cried for probably 2 hours, because I realized just I was like, I got to change.
Oh, I knew something was happening with you. I could see it.
Yeah, it was miserable.
Yeah.
It's your fault.
Thank you.
Yeah. but so I left different. And that started a journey with us.
It
And
did.
Dave says he's, has been affected by us. His humility is nauseating.
Oh, okay.
Because I've learned so much from him, and I get so much from him, and we've been able to do some really cool stuff together.
It is amazing.
The people that get fed just because we found a partnership and a deep love and a friendship for each other on the dirty roads of Nicaragua. Just the people that were fed last year is over
amazing.
750,000. And I don't say that so people go, hey, y'all are good.
Oh,
no, we're nothing.
yeah.
That has nothing to do with it.
That's a drop in the bucket. It just,
Because we were here to talk about sales and passion. But let me tell you what, there had to be that. We had to have that passion so that we keep going. And you know what? It's gotten harder to go as we've been more and more successful. It's gotten harder for me to go, but I force myself to go every time.
Yeah.
Because it's a great reminder. And I see you in the thick of it, loving people.
Yeah, I got to be in the thick of it.
Got to.
But I'm like you. Look, I've been 33 times.
I've only been 9 times.
Yeah, and
just finished our 9th trip last week.
Yeah, and I often say to myself, man, do I really need to go? I mean, come on.
Often. I say that to myself
But,
300 days prior.
yeah,
every day.
My knees are killing me, and my shoulders are killing me. And I'm strapped on, and I'm walking. I'm going, good Lord, what am I doing here? And then all of a sudden, an encounter, and it's the changing. Think about this. We've met them with no hope.
Yep.
I mean, they sleep on dirt floors.
Yep.
They got no hope. And I remember you telling the story about starfish.
Mm-hmm.
We can't have them all.
No.
There went one.
I made a difference to that one.
Made a difference. And what we've done is we've made a difference together.
Yep.
Going down and taking certain ones and doing things with. And now we have kids that are graduating from business college.
Yep.
One's already in pre-med now.
Yep.
That had no hope. There's no way. We've had others who have been going forth and now are diesel mechanics.
Yep.
So this is what we do in planting the seed and going down, how we can make a difference in somebody else's life. Because we've been given hope.
We first had to change ourselves. That's what this whole thing is about personal change. So when I saw that and I went,
Yeah.
I'm not so sure I'm a fan of mine anymore. I had to go inside, and I didn't beat myself up about it. I learned to love that person.
God,
and love shredded all of that. And I went, oh man, no, I got to share this with somebody.
Oh, yeah.
I've got to be, and it put us in a position where we could help somebody else. You can never share oxygen with somebody if you don't have oxygen. You can't share it. You have to square that away. And now it's awesome to see these things, and it baffles me that we've been given the ability to do it. Sometimes I look back and I go, man, who are we? That's just insane what's happened.
I think what you're saying there is extremely important, because what happens to us is we reach points in our life where it's passion, but it's also agonizing, and it brings about change, and it often makes us. Now listen to me. It makes you want to maybe quit.
Oh, yeah.
You say, you know what? I can't take this. I mean, this is more I'm looking for. But I promise you, if you'll press on through that agony, that hurt, that sacrifice, what happens is, and happened to me because I'm older, I'm over here now, and Joseph, I look back and I go, oh my good night. Had I quit, I look back and I see all the faces of the ones that a difference was made in that would have not have taken place.
It's true.
You got to press on.
Well, I saw it firsthand this last trip with the story that we were talking about. We were walking through a gas station getting some waters and nuts and snacks and stuff, and Dave walked by a good-looking guy. He's probably 6'2", 6'3", handsome, dressed nice. You don't see that all the time in Nicaragua, especially places we go. But just a well put together guy. And he was laughing about something Dave was doing. Dave hugged his wife and was messing around like he always is, like we always are, joking around. And the guy laughed and asked him where he was from. And it was amazing. This guy was full of charisma. And you never would have known he was hurting had you not stopped and had that conversation. When you stopped and had that conversation with him, and he found out that he had been driving around that day thinking about suicide. That guy was driving around that day thinking about suicide. And when he heard Dave say, I was a 10-year alcoholic, this is what happened to me. This is how things changed. This is the relationship that I open up to. And when he heard that, that guy said, my life parallels yours. I'm an alcoholic. I can't deal with the pain anymore. I was thinking about killing myself today. And when he spoke English, which was great because Dave don't speak Spanish, and there wasn't a translator near there. And literally I saw, because we're willing to put one foot in front of the other one and go. It opens up situations like that where you can bring joy to somebody. But the key behind it all, you had a passion for personal change, and that passion has now set you ablaze, and you just go and help. Like, I've never seen a person like you that goes and helps and talks to people like the way you do.
It's amazing. I was down in the University of Georgia, and I was ministering down there, and so I was in a church, and I had to get a little excited, and sometimes, used to, when I was a lot younger, I'd leap off the platforms, and this kind of thing. Well, unfortunately, they had me tied up to
a microphone.
The microphone. And I forgot, and I leaped off, and I pulled all the stuff off the stage on the floor. It just shut me down. And the preacher run up to me and said, I told you that you can't do that. And I said, I'm sorry. So we got it all stuffed back in, and I continued on, So at the end of the meeting, I'm back there in the back, I'm going out, and there's this big guy, about 6'5", and I get back there, and he got a big, deep voice. Man, I really enjoyed your message. I said, yeah. He had this little old boy, looked to be about 5 years old, was behind him, and over his daddy's britches leg, and he'd peep his head out, and he'd look at me, and he'd hide back. Yeah. And his daddy said, you know what my boy said about you? I said, I have no idea, sir. He said, when you leaped off that stage and everything come out, he leaped into my lap and said, Daddy, what if his chain breaks loose and he gets back here? So
that is, you are.
Well, what I'm saying to you is,
the Lion of Judah
passion will take you to play. When you are passionate about what you do, and the inner changes are taking place, and you realize what you've got, and you want others to experience these things. I didn't know I was going to get to walk into that, but I got to walk into it because listen to me, others will begin to point at you as to your gifts and calling and talents and what it is that's made you move. It is amazing how they can spot it. Sometimes you don't see it yourself.
I see it happening with Tyler right now. Tyler Harris, who sits here, the Tyler Harris, go to all his stuff. I mean, there's about 100,000 people following his page now. I mean, he's getting up there, and he has made a difference in people's lives all over the country. But I've watched that take place now. People are pointing to him going, hey, this guy's got some answers. But let me tell you where he developed the answers was the 5 a.m.ers, the 4 a.m.ers, the 3 a.m.ers. When you're plowing, when you're working, it's doing a change on you. When you're doing the same thing. Man. Success is nothing but little same repeated steps over and over and over and over and over and over. And that changes you, and it develops that passion inside you so that you can, boom, light other people's fires.
You have got the nail on the head. It's not the big deal.
No.
It's always the little chunks, little pieces. I call life nothing but little short stories. And eventually at the end, there's a book written. And matter of fact, I'm in my 12th chapter on the book that I'm writing now. And it's going to be about that. These things that I have no answer for. Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah, absolutely. No answer for it. But all of a sudden, you dish it out to somebody. And that lives can be changed. By the way, I was in South Africa in 2010.
Yep.
And I spoke in the prisons there. And I've spoken in Nicaragua.
Hey, are those prisons as nice as ours?
Ooh. I'm telling you, son, they are horrible. Oh, my stars, they're horrible. I mean, I was locked in the cage. I'm in the cage in Nicaragua with them.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no bathroom. There's no bed. There's one little piece of PVC pipe coming out of the top. And I said, what's that? And he said, that's our shower. We all get like animals under it, and we all try to shower. Come on, man. Yeah. Get you some of that. So, when you get out, you don't want to go back. Mm-mm. South Africa, I'm there, and I met a man. Now, I want you to listen to this. Met one man that you look at him, Claude Van Graham, what do you do? He said, well, I brought you here. I heard you were coming. I brought you here. I want you to go and speak to my people. Okay, well, what you have a church? What have you got? He said, oh, no, I don't have a church. He said, I go to farms, and I go to the outskirts, and I go to places where nobody will go. And he said, I have little old house churches, and we train them. So I stayed with him, and in the mornings we got up at the crack of dawn, and we were worshiping and praising the Lord, singing songs.
Yeah.
I've never done that. I didn't even know singing. Now I'm up in the morning just singing songs, maybe Johnny Cash sometimes. And so I'm meeting with him, and I'm learning something. I go, wow, this is absolutely amazing. I said, by the way, Mr. Graham, Graan, how many of these little house churches you got? He said, well, I've been doing it for 25 years. And he said, I'm about to cross the 1,000 mark.
Good.
I said, what? 1,000? I said, what? He said, we have 50 in some, 75 in some, and maybe 30 or 20. I said, what's the average? He said, I would say my average is about 30 people per house church. That's 30,000 people. I have 7 regions that I've developed, and leaders in all 7 regions, and then twice a year we bring all the regions together for major camp meetings. I learned a lesson.
If that's not the way to build a business, I don't know what is. That's an amazing.
The man built a business. I said, listen, get this. How much does it cost? Virtually nothing. Because the house is already there, the people are already there. You understand? Yeah. That man figured something out, and that's a good business policy that could be developed. Yeah. And then just and then watch it mushroom.
Sure.
And it just spreads itself. So I learned some valuable lessons. I got to tell you one more story though. They asked me. I got Edgar Mendoza with me over there.
Oh, wow, man!
And he says
we'll have him on here one time. We'll do it all in Spanish. I mean, yeah. There's some Spanish sales wolves out there. They need to hear I'm telling you, in Spanish.
I'm in Worcester, right outside of Cape Town in South Africa, and the warden looks at me and says, "I want to send you to the ladies' prison. Would you speak to them?" And I said, "Oh yeah, I'll speak to the ladies." So I go in there to speak to the ladies' prison, and so they send a guard, one woman. She's about 6'5", 6'6".
That's. No kidding.
I look up to her and she says, she's speaking broken English. I'll be your guard. I said, ma'am, I don't think I need a guard. I said, I'm just in here talking to women. She said, everyone you will speak to kill their husbands. I said, ma'am, be sure you stand right beside me.
You should hang with me.
Hang with me, baby. Don't you get over it. I said, what?
In fact, can I hold your hand while I talk?
I said, what's the deal here? Now listen to me. You see, if you don't get the internal change, if you don't get that which is in out, then it festers and blisters and it causes. So I asked the problem, and she said, men have a tendency to abuse, and the women will take it for so long, and then one night when their husband goes to sleep, they won't wake up. I said, whoa. And so, but that day I preached. I really just spoke to them on the power of love, and I used my mother as the example. And the floodgates, they burst out wailing and crying when they heard the story of my mother. See, my mother was pulled out of school in the 7th grade because her father was just died in an accident at Spartan Mill. Mm-hmm. He lost some fingers and they took him to the hospital, but they neglected to give him a tetanus shot, and he died of gangrene several days later. So the mother goes and says, I need my mom, Melba, I need her to come out and take care of the kids. There were 4 of the kids in there. So my mother's a 7th grader, scrub boarding, doing all the things that she does, taking care of the kids, wiping the diapers because one had just been born, with the promise that she'd get to go back to school, and she didn't. So she lived like that, and then my daddy went to World War II, lied about his age, went in and fought in the war, came back home.
16 or 17?
17 years old, just turned 17. Yeah. And he comes back and, of course, marries my mom, but she raises, five of us. And so I marry, we have a daughter named Holly, and so I take Holly up for my mother to take care of one day because we was going somewhere. And the most extraordinary thing took place. Because my mother, who is internally blistered, who is internally rejected, who is internally hurting, but lets no one know it, works like a dog for her kids, washes, scrubs, and does everything, but yet there's something inside that needs to be dealt with. But she tells nobody. Daddy will not allow anything on TV, spiritual, anything like that. My daddy is one of these guys that when he says it, he means it. You better follow through. So, but he's on a derrick. A derrick, his trains have wrecked, and he's gone to work on the derrick to get the trains back. I worked with the railroad 43 years too. And so my mother's there reading the paper, and watch this. You can get cornered, friend. You can get cornered, and where you can hear. She flops that paper open, and a man on TV says, "Hey, you, ma'am," reading that paper on that couch. "God told me to tell you he loves you." She moved that paper over and looked at that and slapped that paper back. She said, I had just a nauseous look, and I said, "Nobody loves me." My mama said. Now listen to me now, businessman, husband, others. She said, about 10 minutes later, son, that voice said again, "You, ma'am, on that couch reading that paper, God loves you." And she moved that paper back and looked one more time. She said, "I didn't see the TV, but I saw this gigantic hose, and it was just throwing out love waves." She said, "It caught me." She said, "Son, it caught me and just knocked me back, and all of a sudden, everything in me began to just, the bitterness and the hatred and all this unforgiveness and things I had." And she said, "I fell to my knees and my hands and crawled over to the television." And she said, I never felt nothing like it. I got cleansed and cleaned, and she said my life was forever changed that day. That's what we need, the internal change. Let love come in. We got to have love, man. Come on. You know, I mean, we do all these things, everything. Do this, do that, do this, and do that. But without love,
it's nothing.
There's no profit in it. And so my mom has taught me a lot over these years. She's 85 now. You know, and Daddy went on to be with the Lord 21 years ago. I really miss him. And but he left me with a legacy. He left me with a lot of quotes and a lot of word of things that have helped me through the years. And so I'm blessed, and I'm honored to be here with you today.
Man, I love it. I appreciate you being here.
Yeah, man.
I love that. If you hadn't realized by now, Dave is passionate, and I think our thing went off the screen, but that's okay. You can go back on, maybe. Anyway, if you hadn't realized it, there is passion within us, right? We've tapped into that, and this whole podcast, we hopefully have gotten something across that will allow you to go inside yourself and find that for you, right? We work in very different industries. I mean, he's a minister. He's an evangelist. He's not a minister. He's an evangelist, and that's what he's worked. He's been in business. If you hadn't noticed, I brought that stuff up. He's been very successful in business as well. But I'm in insurance, and but we have tapped in to that internal drive, that passion that drives us forward, and that's something that you're going to have to tap into. That's something that you're going to have to realize. And but I appreciate you being here, and like us, Dave Walton Ministries. You can find him on Facebook. You go to our Facebook; he's all over our stuff too. And man, we appreciate you doing this. He is, Tyler and I call ourselves the original sales wolves, but I think he's got us beat. he's the OG. But anyway, we appreciate you guys being here. Check our stuff out. Like us, share us. Go to iTunes, rate us. Man, do a review. That's how you can show if you appreciate us. Do a review on iTunes, man. We really need you to do that. And we're not selling anything. We're not asking you to donate to anything. We're not asking you to do absolutely anything except grow you, personal change, get committed to it. And then the other thing we ask is that you like and share our stuff, and you review us, even if it's a bad review. If you think we're useless, that's fine too, right? So anyway, appreciate you guys. This has been episode 23 of the Sales Wolf Podcast. We are the Sales Wolves. Ow!